governance, and business of to be formed on the Alkebuleum blockchain. And we also have some institutional guests present here. Alkebuleum is grateful to welcome representatives from various most of critical educational and governance institutions, including academic institutions. We have present Lucas University College. We have Staff University College present. We have AMU, AMEZU University. We have the United Distance Staff Student Computer Training Program. And then we also have public and innovation sector. We have a Liberian Land Authority, fully represented here. We have also the Public Procurement and Concession Commission, Liberia Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. We have Girls in Technology present. We have Rethink Tech also present here. We have Innovation Hub also present here, and also a representative from the University of Liberia, Mr. Kiro Orlando Singh C. Yes, you are highly welcome. So, and yeah, and also we have representative Prime Music also present here. Yes, so today we have a full house of tech or university institution, anti-graduation. We have all represented as a come with call names to recognize those who will be here on. So we hope today presentation and panel discussion is inspire partnership, innovation, and quality communication progress. Thank you again for joining us. Your platform.
Yes.
So, other program is we have Alkebuleum project documentary video you before Alkebuleum. Yes, so maybe the audience only want to know why is Alkebuleum. Yes, so Alkebuleum. I don't know if anybody will know this. Anybody in here? Yes. So, like I said, for my welcome remark, this is a Pan-African initiative. And then Alkebuleum, the word Aki is food decolonized African. The original name for Africa was yes. So that should tell you the background from where we are coming from. Yes, Alkebuleum. Yes. So the whole the entire original name of Africa is Alkebuleum. Yes. So watch and see the documentary from Alkebuleum project. Thank
What does it mean to build for the future? To believe in a vision not yet seen and to act when no one is watching? This is the story of Al. What does what does it mean to build for the future? To believe in a vision not yet seen and to act when no one is watching? This is the story of Alkebuleum, born not in comfort, but in necessity, not in profit, but in purpose.
For me, what I realized is with this blockchain technology, with its transparency, open windows for us now to create the foundation of a new economy. There is a huge problem with corruption. To see if we can utilize the blockchain to pretty much eliminate corruption. Yeah. Alkebuleum matter because we don't have representation in the space of blockchain for Africans. All the blockchains that exist, they are all foreign blockchains from other continents. They didn't build it for our culture, they didn't build it for our issue we have. Alkebuleum, we building it with the African culture. So it's very unique to Africa. So that's why Alkebuleum is very important in space in the world at this moment. Next generation should start to think differently. So what we're doing now is of ideas in the young people mind to start to think wisely so they can create a new future for themselves. So the next Liberia future will be more prosperous. We released the first white paper 2022, and the original vision was pretty much to create a layer one blockchain that was fully decentralized to have it done in step in phases. So the first phase we were thinking about just having a very simple implementation, and then we gradually to decentralize, and eventually the the blockchain will become fully decentralized.
So Alkebuleum is a project that's been going on for some time. There's been a lot of work in the background. And the reason why having a blockchain tailored to the continent is so important is because we want to make sure we solve our problems. And
you. Yes. So,
some of the problems
sorry
we
about
have
the
in various
just
countries.
want to close this and come back to this later. So we just want to go straight into presentation. Um, so video will then get it right. Um, So basically, the next title is the visionary of this Alkebuleum blockchain, calling on Ernest Harvard in this presentation.
Thank you so much, Edward Dixon. I want to thank everybody for coming today. This evening. I had to travel from Texas all the way for this evening here. And you know that I'm not around the plane, like around the plane, and not a lot of things. Because my flight was on first class, so I had to rush open again. But the reason why I made it because I think this is important for us. And even though we may not get the point in the initial stage, but the next generation, might take this to the next level. That's the reason why. So what I want to do today is to just talk a bit about technology on a really basic point of view. I understand that most of us don't have any idea of what it is, and I think we need our best to survive in the way we can understand. If you have any questions, you can interrupt me and ask me because it will help everybody else understand the concept. The main reason why we got involved with this technology is because of record keeping transactions that occur. You all know about bookkeeping. Every organization has a report that pretty much records all the received. Uh, you have it in a book. You have all the transactions of that organization in that book. Now, if that person is corrupt or have an influence in the long term, they can change anything in that book. And that information will be what the organization back today will have to see, always have in somebody was corrupt. This happens every other day in our society, in government, private sectors, and pretty much even the social organization, like our school communities. This is the problem. So, everybody sometimes says the person is corrupt, this person is bad. But when I analyze the system that we use, I realize that people are not really bad or people can see it. But if you have a vulnerable system, I realize that nobody is watching me. They're tempted to steal something. That's what encourage corruption. So you see a person that will come, they are clean, they don't have no record of anything bad. But you put them in a position for a few months, they also become corrupt. The system they're using open the window for corruption. So when we realize that systems are very important to institutions, that's when we got interested in this technology. Because this technology creates the same ledger that we recall transactions. But this time, it's not just one person not using it, it's decentralized, it's open. Have you ever heard of open government, open this, open that? So open ledger is what blockchain. So let me get into it. Sorry, let me put this slideshow on. Okay. Okay. what I'm showing here is the definition that I created. Just for the definition of blockchain, what blockchain is. So I said a blockchain is a decentralized open ledger software that records and verifies transactions currently and permanently without needing a central authority. The most important keyword is decentralized, not centralized, and it's an open ledger. And I put software in it because I want you to not under your mind think like the hardware system or something else. Because it's software you can download and install on your system. And then what does the software do? It records information like every other database we used to do, or Excel sheets, right? And they also verifies the transaction. Make sure the person who's saying that they want to send $100, they got $100 in their account. And they're not trying to fraud the system. So they verify the transaction. And then how to do it? Open it. And whatever is recorded, the most important thing is it can never be erased. So if you buy a land, that land deed on the black, it can never be erased. You can access it from any part of the world because the blockchain is a global network. So there's no way that anybody can change your land deed to somebody else. It doesn't matter how much money that person has. It can use all the computers around the world. So that's what the permanent means. It can never be erased without needing central authority. So that's the reason why we keep this definition. If you have any questions with the definition, I can answer it. Or else I'll move to this illustration right here. Because people maybe now we call it blockchain or blockchain, right? It's like a chain of blocks. The blocks we use. You know, when you in the financial sector, when you receive transactions, right? They usually group the transaction into batches, right? So you see the 5 transactions, and then you move it to the next stage, process it, save it, new ones. So the same thing. The blockchain receive block action, and then it fit into a block, almost a batch, same as a batch, right? And then when you put in the batch, you group it, and then you use some kind of math. This math is it. It's the math that changed the entire world in the last few years. This math will take any information that you give it, and it will convert it into a fixed length string. So maybe 32 characters of string, and that string represents that exact information you gave it. This string is going to be reproduced by this information, and not to make it simple. Imagine you cooking tteokbokki or soup, or like this is smoothie. This is a smoothie, right? And you have the mixer smoothie. You take all the ingredients and you put it in the smoothie, and you mix it, and somebody test it, right? If you take any additional ingredients in that smoothie and mix it, it's a little bit different. So that's why I talk about that data that was the finished product of the smoothie, which is a place sample string. And only this smoothie can produce this. If you create another smoothie, you'll produce another string. That's what people have different fingerprint. Maybe God is the same function to create our fingerprint that we all unique. So what how is this important? The first block, every block should have the first block, which is the first transactions. Like I said earlier, like the batch, like the body Genesis block, like about Genesis. It doesn't have a previous hash. Hash is the emperor of the smoothie body, the soup. That's what we call hash. Now, this one now, whenever you have transactions in there, you say, okay, it's probably not have a long transaction that can be take the data of the transaction. It has to create a hash. This is the hash right here. You hash it, and then you take this hash, the next block of transactions You're looking at the previous hash. You see the previous hash, this one. So you link it to this one. And they also have the own data into here to new to hash everything, the soup. We'll mix it all together. They will send on this. Only this can produce it. Everything. Nothing else can produce it. You can reproduce it. If you take any information around what the real concrete unique, you can never ever produce this hash with any other information. If you change one character or anything else, it will never produce it. And that's the wonder of this technology. So the block keep increasing, right? But the hash. So if you not how you say you want to you can do fraud. You can't say, okay, this man say yeah, one of that for 150 swing, you know. When you put 150, it will produce a different hash. And the entire block is wrong. The chain, your chain is wrong, right? But if you put the right information, it produces the right information, and the chain is correct, right? So this is what they call it a blockchain, because it's linking these blocks of transaction continuously, and you can never manipulate it. And that's the reason why we're here. We just want to share this information about maybe somebody out there might listen and they might say, okay, let's experiment with it, let's see how it works. You know. So I hope that explanation was a little bit easier to understand. Let's move on. So how does the blockchain differ from what we used to earlier? Uh, if you want to really know the difference, look at few elements, for example, what kind of network does a blockchain use? How do you insert data or input data? And then how do you update or delete it? Blockchain system in our current database or anything, right? So, one second, let me get some more water. Thank you. So let's look at the network architecture for the difference between a blockchain and what we're using now. Everywhere, even government, private sector, using this system called client to server system. If you're using one start now, the phone is a client. There's a server you start of this, a control. You log in, open your phone, and a server. Anybody inside the office that have anything they want to do, it will affect whatever you do here, right? So the server client. Blockchain use that network system, they're using the peer-to-peer. Peer-to-peer means that they remove that server. So we don't want anybody to control anything that you're doing. We want a man to get directly with other men. So what we in between will be math, code, computer code. You put a math in. So everything that server was doing, program it, put it down, put it on the blockchain. So it cannot be tampered with, right? And that code will perform the role of that server that was being used earlier. So in that case, now I'm communicating directly with you, any middleman. But you know, middleman is the problem. You can always grab from the middleman to get the story. So that's what we use peer-to-peer. So a database insert. You can insert records into our current system easily. For me, I'm a data scientist. I have no access in data science. Washington University, right? Been working just to get a little background. Been working in the database since 2006 CRS. I worked on these. I became a supervisor there. Like 7 years. Well, the US and access and data science. So very my databases. Well, of course, this one I'm making. investors approval. And then another aspect of the difference is the database update and delete. In our current system, we allow update and delete easily. But in the blockchain, you cannot update, you cannot delete. That's why this word call it immutable. So when you go online, you read about blockchain, this term, immutable, mean that it's changeable. You can never change the information I've already there. But we can do it when I understand. So when you see what we're using now, then we make our country, and you will say, okay, this is the reason why there are some level of corruption going on in fraud. Because this can be manipulated. But this cannot be manipulated easily. Maybe not all. We move on. Just to give you a visual diagram of what I was explaining. The current system we use, this diagram shows how it's structured. We are depending on this guy right here, the server. You see that man at email, I mean, the repetition. So then everybody has clients. If this man is influenced, then we are all affected. That's the structure. This is the network structure we have. Server to clients. Now, if you look at the graph, it is peer-to-peer structure. There's no server. Everybody is equal. All these servers make the decision before the data gets inserted on the chain. I just want to show you guys that you have a visual, how that is structured. And then since we have had that, let me get into a little history of how all these things started and give credit to the man. So 2008, somebody called Satoshi Nakamoto, went ahead and created this thing. Because for him, he was best in the US. He said, why the financial crisis happening? The banks, all these intermediaries, all these middlemen, they fees. Want to make transaction, they put a high fee, right? But he said, why can't you just communicate direct? Why can't I just direct to you? In between to put some rules and he was frustrated about that. Right? And he did called white paper. He turned it big one, peer-to-peer electronic cash system. That was his title. He released this paper to do it. So a white paper is a document you publish if you want to uh, technology, right? You say, this is my technology, this is how it works, that's why it's making stuff. The reason you do that because you want investors to invest or those in a scientific community to look at the work. That's what he did. Now when he did it, he was a little man, the man created the motivation behind what he did it for financial intermediaries post 2008 financial crisis in the US. And then there's a need decentralized simple code system. So this was his motivation, pretty much. I just want you guys to have an understanding like who created this, you can know who created this guy. But this person, you might believe this name process. You want more the middle there, then coming for you. So the person is unknown. database and their own different softwares in there. So when you send a transaction from the blockchain, they use in there, they sign the transaction with their key, and then it's submitted. Then these guys who appeared will select one of them transaction, and they'll group it like I said earlier, right? And you put it in something called block, and then they'll propose it. Say, oh, this is a new block. The person on the second out, the other person there. All of you way of thinking, guilty or not. So in the Senate, you propose it. The block is proposed on the network. Now all the computers on the network have to agree that that is correct and accurate, not a separate, not the guy who the administrator, not one guy, but all the computers have to agree. When they agree, the block is added to the chain. You saw that block is perfect. The chain start growing. That's how it happened. And then that has to become part of the immutable history, the unchangeable history forever and ever and ever. You remain there. You get something called finality in the Latin term. You get to go finality in the actually not time. It's going to change. So this is just an overview of how the full send or transaction on the block. Let me continue. Now let's look at some real world use cases. I don't know if discuss the technology itself. Let's see how people using it around the world already, because this is already being used in many countries in Africa. People benefiting from it, especially NGOs. A lot of things. For flights, what we're doing now, we have a lot of early. These are all middlemen. They all have that several client. Right? Now, in the blockchain sector, they are creating all decentralized finance. Meta, you can take everything here and you recreate it into like the same thing, the same app, the same project, the same everything. But now it's not in separate client architecture. It's based on the Meta. You are sure that information is and nobody is assets. I mean, okay, thank you. Right. So let's go to assets. Sorry. This is a very important in Liberia. If you Liberia, you own land, you own properties, you realize that people are killing each other for properties because our revenue keeping system of properties have a have a problem currently. You can buy a piece of land today, and in few years, somebody comes to come and claim it, their property. And why is that happening? Because there's a system that we have that we use information. And for some reason, this man D is right, and this other man D is correct, and the other man D is correct. You have no idea how many people have the same D. This system can be improved if you use this. Because what happens is that there's no way to call an NFT, non-fungible token. Sorry, non-fungible token. There's no way you can change the information in blockchain. So if I buy this property right now, I own it, unless I resell it, and then a new transaction will say another person owned it. There's no around the world you go, whatever you do is the owner. You can is what we are doing. So that's how we can solve our asset. Apart from land, there's many other assets we can houses, we own many things. The list of assets that we can, and we can use blockchain to do that. All these things can be built with something called smart contract. Smart contract on the blockchain. Elections. You go vote, and you see counting the vote. 1, 2, 3, right? We have to rely on these people and trust them to count our vote, or whichever they're doing, on paper. Whether it's right or wrong, we don't know. But people always complain. Right? Well, there's a way we can actually use people on the blockchain. If you put your vote and you type voice, not see you put it, but it's anonymous, right? But they still can see the vote and know that it's your vote based on the blockchain connect you have, your identity connectivity. So the information there can never be changed. And you have a fair voting system, national voting, or even like board. You have your board of your organization. You can use this also vote if there's some kind of change. You can use that. Then money. We have our own middleman. Central bank creates currency, and then they regulate. They take it out. They put some in it. Shift it around to help our economy to, be balanced. The blockchain have its own way of creating currency, and they call it cryptocurrency. So cryptocurrency, I think everybody here probably have heard of cryptocurrency already. You have Bitcoin, and you have Ethereum, you have many other currencies. Monero. I'm not putting Monero right now. And then even us in the future, if central bank give us authority to go and have anything in terms of releasing of on the market, because they have a regulation and we have to be approved first. So with that approval, we're going to introduce this, and then people can have an alternative, transparent. So these are just some examples of how you can utilize or move on to the next generation of decentralization. If we have some government institutions in this room right now, like I'm not sure they are here. It was supposed to be here today, which is great. Just to show a little bit of scenario how already can utilize this technology to transform their system. And believe the people that are actually waiting. Government institutions are open to this thing right now. That even here now tells you that you want to try. Sometimes we just look into them. It's not like there are bad people. There are people like us too. So now with government institutions, key important things that we notice is they want the information private. They want data on blockchain. Very important. But there have been innovations that have been created on the blockchain. We call it zero knowledge proof, meaning that you can keep your system just as it is. So if there's no start, you get a server, keep your server like that. Now, you will utilize this new technology called zero knowledge that will connect your server to the blockchain. Now, your server now we have to discuss as your server have all the ingredients, all the line, the soup will go on the chain. If anything change in your ingredients, the chain will say you cannot insert a new record until you get actual data that matches with what's launching. So that proof is what can actually help if you have a private data that no one shared. At the same time, it's still benefit from chain. So this is the model that we can propose to institutions that want to keep their data private at the same time benefit from the blockchain. So you have the layer already, you have your own server there, you have a zero knowledge group, and also the Alkebuleum network or any other network, like Ethereum other network. You have a smart contract there that verifies the proof. It takes all that soup to match what's here. If it's different, it cannot allow you to modify it. So this is how the system will it will force the system here to be fair. So you cannot modify the data if something changed for the history. So that's what we propose to the government. And this one area that corruption is having implementation, where maybe the legislature have already approved using government, for example, we are sorry people have the same issue. They have approved the budget and the evaluation of the project. Things go wrong at project implementation. But we have something called a smart contract that can control the entire project and make sure that every money that was budgeted can be used for the right purpose. This smart contract can work with our own identity system. You know, the government now focusing on identity, right? That's a very good thing because you need to know people. For example, you procuring and you hiring to do some job. I can go and get my sister to come and get a contract. If she not qualified, I can get her because we in the boss. But with this new system, the system have record of all the vendors in their history, in their their performance. So if the budget already for a particular material, you have to be X and Y and Z yeah, market before you can be qualified for this market. Not going to allow you to select a vendor that is not qualified. It's a map. It's not human being. The map doesn't know you. But over and over, they won't accept it. So you have to control it. Wherever you put the project proposal and you buy budget for, you can create a smart contract, put on the blockchain, and that's the entire project from start to end. And then you start to realize your benefit. And I just wanted just to show you some real life example of what we can do possibly now. But there's many examples that we can go through. Actually, you are the right place. You put everything on the right time. But I'm actually so at this point, you ask some questions.
I'm James P. Kingsley, the Executive Director of the Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission, representing the Executive Chairperson of the Liberia Commission. Thank you for this very insightful presentation. There's two concerns. One, we are involved in asset declaration and verification of identification. How do we establish the authenticity of assets that are declared, and how can this software help us verify assets, the asset of public official who declare their assets? The second thing is the last one that you close on. That is very essential for budget tracking. For example, the budget department have the appropriation for different government and agencies. How can we effectively use this software to see to match appropriation and investment to see whether the budget performs well or while the bottlenecks have to be excessive budget. I just want to throw that out to you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So for the first question is about the tracking of assets of XMRDC public officials. And then whenever you got verified, we can have it verified. So whenever system like this comes in place, similar to what the government has like enforcing ID system, when those systems that come in place, you start using them and start get history and we just start change the way. So if you put your information at two, therefore, and it has to grow the chain grow. So it's not a public bodies assets. And even if it's changing, the change is requiring change. It's like a law changes happening. Once it's going to change, the current state of the change is today at this time. Who owns this? Because the ownership makes you look at. That's it. Before we look at and know the current owner. So having that history of information, it can help the audit. Even now, the US government and most government around the world use blockchain audit. Because now the asset is an open thing. You can have a server in your office of the blockchain, have a node. You can have one of those nodes. Anybody can have that node. It's not like a specific organization, but it's your life. Now you can now see live what's going on the team yourself. That's the beauty of it. So that's how you can track assets. We have to record it. When you start using it, then you start to track that. Secondly, I think there was a second question you asked. Yes. So, right. So that illustration I had we saw some about smart contract. The smart contract, the same agreement we have, we can now program the agreement into code. That code and put it on the chain. The code too. So when you put it on chain, it can change. Us that created the code, it can change the mind later on. It has to be approved by all the stakeholders first before it can be changed. But that code is the code that will regulate the entire project. Meaning that you can put your rules, the rules you're describing, and any other rules. It could be different rules, right? In the code. The code is not a human being saying, have emotions. It's act based on what was written down. And that's how you can remove that middleman who was acting like he's so smart, but lenient sometimes on the process. Oh, yes, sir. He have a little everybody.
Thank you very much. Yes, builders, positive, civic, department, as a partner that show. I'll then follow you on your program. What some figure online, they will present like the concept in a concept like our African. I used blockchain when I was in Nigeria. The people are there about the blockchain, we talk about country where you program text say every morning I pay your money. So the program say every morning I pay your money. So the difference you gotta live by what you say. So temporary has to come with official here, especially the ST commission. I think they're getting somewhere. A little bit afraid when it comes to the concept because I'm a computer person, I also do programming, my partner, for instance. So I did an application representing the application for agency. That this time you don't be told you work on it. It's not going to help you. If you send me, would that take away allowance from all? Will take your allowance, but it's like so much fear is that making this particular concept that video with everything in that. It has seen from the beginning that trust the hope and the development that everything will be going to use. So fear is you fear that when therefore they can actually believe next is more correct because what they are actually to combat corruption. Very new that is to actually combat corruption. And we know to somebody that we are in Africa. Africa is here and we are here in Africa. But I think with the engagement and with the support everybody, I think we can get somewhere. So I continue to pray for you that your dream reality. We continue to push you confident and we but you will move on. But the issue is, you know, take my seat. The issue is when you reconcile your concept that you are bringing with central bank digital money digitalization that they are bringing in. You reconcile that. I think that's the question raised when you're discussing where people come from.
Yes.
For the interest, and what they get from it.
Okay, let me address that. So we've been in contact with Central Bank. The first thing we did was to inform them that we are about to start this initiative in Liberia so that we are aware and we are not seen as a fraudulent organization because people usually use this technology for fraud. So if you want to do something properly, you have to like on the right organization. So we informed them, they were fine with it, and they even told us that they have plans to introduce a Liberian digital currency to use the blockchain too. You know, but we told them that we are available for offer our assistance in helping them to craft even regulations because you need to regulate this technology. If you don't, you have people scamming. So we inform them it's very important now because the world is going this direction. Even if they don't do it now, they might accept our proposal. All the people come from abroad and they will bring this later on. But we don't want people to come and defraud us in our country. So the best thing they can do, central bank and their lawmakers, is to create a regulation for this. And we have seen the US and other countries progress with their regulations. And they have come to a position, even Europe is very good at it. We have a very good regulation around blockchain and cryptocurrency. We can learn from that and craft our own to regulate it in Nigeria. So we'll continue engaging with them continuously until we get to our point.
Well, my name is Francis Dennis. I'm former president of the Bank, and also director for Orange Money. It's just a coincidence I happen to be here, quite alerted to this discussion on blockchain. Reason being, a few days ago, I mentioned that pretty soon the courts will be centralized, each will be individual units. And I was doing some research in terms of how to make these more efficient. What investments do we do? What do we do? We need to look at what the KPIs. In particular, then efficiency, globally competitive. Right? Years ago, decades ago, a lot of traffic flew through open road. Today, you have competition from other countries around, even Syria, and so forth. And I went over AI, and one of the things they specified was blockchain. I said, this is something that happened to me here. I'd like to know from anything about the application within context of the port operation. So, you have any idea, please share with
Yes, I have a general idea like what I told you earlier. So with the smart contract that I talk about, it's more like agreement or contract. Whatever rules and regulation that you want based on the business model, you can implement it in that smart contract. That smart contract will run based on that. Like you're creating any application, or you can take the application and put it on chain or any logic that you have that you want to implement, you want that control. Whatever you want to control, you put it on chain, you control what happens. So that smart contract is revolutionary. When it was created, the entire world went crazy. those who are already knowledgeable about this will feel about one small boy. He was probably, I think, a teenager in Eastern Europe. He heard that Ethereum, he created a smart contract, and blockchain became more important from the point on because I cannot code everything you're saying, put on there, all the little control around it, you don't change. If people start interacting with the chain, they're now interacting with your logic. Your logic now will protect you. Whatever you, even if you're dead or not, it remains there forever unless your logic create anything for change. But that logic you create remains continuous. And that's the reason why it's powerful. It's not just about a specific business model, but it can go across any business model that you want to implement in logic you want to control in your application. So I think if you ready, you can like set it up, tell the developer what you want to be done, and then you create a smart contract for your own chain. You good to go. Oh yeah, I discussed that earlier, right? But tempering thing, some people are here earlier when we discussed the tempering. Blockchain cannot be tempered with. I wish you were here earlier. I had a slide where I talked about why it can be tempered with. The way it's structured. Our current system, you can change information, you can delete, you can insert, sorry, you can delete, update, you can do a lot of modifications. But when it comes to blockchain, the reason why is this revolutionary because it cannot be modified. Once you put information on it, you can change it. And again, your own chain, that won't happen. That's that's one. And I think the second question you asked, yes. So the blockchain is made of peers, right? So if you have your company that produce services, you can also get one node, your own computer and chain node, and be your validator. So your node, you can connect it to your user. That node is connected to all the other network. So you want faster interaction, right? So your node is available just like you have the current that still serve your server and client. But now your node appear, but you also do this service as a server, but it is not certain when this is approved by everybody else. It's not updated because it can never update, right? But it still do the same operation that it was doing previously as a regular server. So it's even faster because you can do how you want to make your node a bigger server, faster processors to you. Similar.
Yeah, I think it's talk about the application with the passcode. Yeah, the other to if you want to update or if you change
Mhm.
or send information to passcode, I mean that applicable on the chain.
And the contract we train to allow just update the date.
Yes.
From any
Yes. Because the contract, like I said, is your logic. It's not your logic. Because the blockchain creates you have a machine that allows you to write a program on the machine allows you, the programmer, to do your own thing, not the blockchain itself. So whatever rules that you want to set, that's what you set. So I mean, I know your exact rules, but you know it. You put it in there. It's temple. Nobody can change it, and you continue on that path. I mean, yourself can change it if you decide that only for it.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Or when at the start of your presentation, you talked about the market crash of 2008. To knowledge, it was something that was built over years, that particular market crash. So my own question now is, what is our security that in the next 50 to 60 years that we're not going to experience a blockchain crash?
Okay. So I think I'll answer a similar thing like to what he said about the service. If you ever gone to a ministry before, you say you want to passport and then say the server is system now, right? It's because we're depending on one server. If you have your system on a decentralized system, a copy of whatever they are is on all the other, right? So if this server is down, all the other servers are up. Now you never go up. You can not access whichever server you want to be on continuously. The make it 7 never off because everybody on the chain are being incentivized to be on to provide the services. That's one thing. Secondly, those institutions are using our system server to client structure. So they are prone to attack on all the things that the server is attacked. All the clients are now working online. So that's the reason why even the guy who created blockchain, that's the real reason why he created it. So flaw in the institution. Now in the US, I think even now you think that the US don't have corruption, but recently things come up, right? We don't know about. And some people even suggesting over there, put something on chain. Yeah. Something's on chain because now that will help to like control things that the public don't know, right? So yeah, that's the reason why that happened. For security, in terms of us not going out, we have the chain on multiple, the computers. The security is if this one is down, the server now you have user servers that have to feed you, so you don't have security that you cannot go. You always have your information available to you all the time, so it's not going to be lost or tampered with. The security, if your information, keep it available from internet up, from foreign going up, from somebody breaking the building, breaking all the buildings that have all the nodes, which is impossible, right? So that's the security. You have no security of server. It's a one server, and you can tap it anytime. And when it goes down, all the clients are off, right? So you see what is the security it brings? Um,
Yeah, thank you so much. Can we take the last two questions? We should.
I think you want to say something on that too? Right. The downside is the learning curve, the learning curve in adapting to this technology, in the education of the user. In cryptography, protect the information. Users are understanding cryptography. You're not using username and password like log in their account. You do something called key and private, right? Those things sometimes confusing for a regular user. You need some little bit of awareness and training about how to use this. That's some disadvantage, number one. Number two, because it's decentralized, right? It comes with its own problem. People can do fraudulent things on it because somebody from another area can post something that is fraudulent. But if the user is not educated enough, you might the internet. The internet came, you know, it was for good, but then we started having like that, we started having people not being for the internet now can be used for good and bad. So the is bad people can use it. That's the reason why when your intention is good, you want to contact the very first. That's what we did first with a central bank. Let the government and the private sector be aware of you. So people who do bad, they don't really like to show the face. You know, I do. And then they create a regulation too. So they can protect our people because our people don't really know much about these things. They have to they have to learn first. So that's some of the things that we need to work on. If you know they're going to use this, we need to take time for people to get it, to use it for a while, test it, learn more before they can afford it. Only thing that's the learning curve to get on. Like, adapt to.
Shadrach is separate from the issue with the college, especially also in technology. So I want to know how can this software help our students learning programming and other software institution.
The question I want to ask you is, what's the, do you want, like, what transparency do you want to achieve? Software create transparency and open ledger for the people to like, not tinker with information. So what kind of value you achieve in your process?
Programming students. You understand that is programming students.
Oh, okay. For programming students, I think one of the most important people who start to learn about this because when we do smart contracts, it needs programmers to write it. So if any of the government institutions decide to, they will need people to write that smart contract. There. So that's an opportunity. That's like new areas. It's happening. There's a whole new economy, a whole new knowledge. The schools are teaching writing smart from the JavaScript, other things, right? You learn it, and then you start writing smart contracts. And then you start deploying it for different institutions. And then you start to make your earnings from that. That's an opportunity for you. But if you want to control like maybe cheating and collecting bribe and all that stuff, then you can use it for that purpose. Control that whole grading system of cheating and bribing, so we can try to take student progress. That could be it depends on what you want to achieve.
Yeah, so I'm Justice. I'm Justice Q. I am a software engineer by profession. So I really want to know concerning the aspect of blockchain technology. So as I mean, what involves the area of technology that now changes the work. So now, if a person who is a programmer, because we have many systems like I already said, in how can the because the technology is being built in the that whatever goes on rate can now be changed or probably updated. So how now the enforcement of the technology rises, programs and other things, how in the long run the blockchain can incorporate most, I mean, different software applications that will be used by users to interfaces.
So the blockchain is not going to replace the current system. If you're not interested in transparency, maybe for your processing process you have, you can keep it on the lower seven. If your intention is to solve something that you realize it needs openness and transparency and control. That aspect of your logic you put on chain. You can decide which element to put on chain. You can decide which element to keep in your current day, your current reason being that it's your own logic wherever you want to achieve that for your achieve. If you don't even see the need for that transparency, you don't have to use it. You can still use your current system. So let us not get it wrong that when we throw away our current computer system or whole new system, you don't even need it. It's on a specific need in West.
Thank you very much for the presentation. My name is Brandon Sensei, the University of Liberia. From our end, we are actually education from higher education perspective. So I want to do actually like some practical use case scenario how blockchain technologies can either assist higher educational institutions this time, this currently.
Um, Again, I think is challenges you guys want to solve, right? Because I'm not aware of challenges that maybe those who attend the school may know of. That. But I think in general, it's about controlling any level of fraud or partiality, biasness, even decision making. If the decision is being centralized to one person or four people, and other people whose decision are not involved, you use it. If it's about money that is being leaked, you use it. If it's about students, teachers lying, and other students who are trying their best and not getting the grades as well get because you use it in the teachers and the system to track their activities so that it can be more fair. Anything you want to use, so long you prefer to achieve what you use it for. Now that's when you contact programmers to create a smart contract for your logic to achieve, and now that'll be achieved. Smart contract.
But then I need a clarify where it has to be like, is it part of the application code that was written that will be, I mean, rewritten the smart contract, language with right to that aspect of security. That's not just the clarity actually I really need about things.
Everything info before info, you have the front end, you call the API, and the API have a logic in it. You tell your API to get all the females who's about 18. You go to press it, database get consent back and you write. So that code on your back end is the same thing. On the blockchain, you write that logic you want. You want 18 years old, you put it there. When you interact with the same is a back-end system similar, right? So it goes through the API, the blockchain API connects to it, and then it interact with the smart contract. The only difference is your code can be changed, but maybe you or some other people, you cannot change this other code.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the clarity.
Yes, so can we now we take a question from the learn authority?
Right. My name is Sanchoni. I'm from the Learning Authority, the LLA. And for us at LLA, you try to use the blockchain, and you talk the last you talk about Jumbo letter, right? I want you to really explain a little bit about letter to can you bring it in blockchain, right? You have not a system for me. I'm not even though I'm new, but I have not seen any server or entity to my entity in the experience source. So when everyone went to start explaining, yes, I will explain once, and all of a sudden the rate and see falling table check, let's see what people will have. So here, what about what exactly you want us to do in blockchain work? Exactly, because a lot of people want to I'm thinking about one night. A lot of people, all right? A lot of kids say, come to me personally, we do my work, right? Yeah. So, what blockchain can fit in that? So, what's some of the things you're going to do?
So, uh, the same concept of a person who controls information, which is the record, the records that control, whether it's one person or we trust in them to do the thing. And that's what we do now. I ain't saying people bad or the good in the system, but if you have a system that have that vulnerability, you understand, right? This same system can be used in the US in work on the reason because they have budget to support it. We don't have budget enough to support the system here. So now that's why people sometimes can, try to like exploit the things. If we don't have that much budget, and that's the difference between this without not working somewhere else and not working here. But with this one, we don't really need that high budget. Because we have the computer now being that control where those people was doing earlier, putting information in and then changing it, recording and other things in that central system. I don't know if you're using computer or file, but if you're using both of these things, a database, it can be temporary. Based on what we explained earlier. With the blockchain, you're still using your same system. One thing is, every time you try to insert a new record, it compares your history. This we describe it by the soup here. The element of the soup, it doesn't match the soup that is function, the taste that is function. It doesn't allow that insert because something has changed. That means that somebody wanted to go something. You will have to use the right history to add a new one. Even when you want to add one blockchain has to be approved by some community that was set up for 5 years. So like approval saying that this new record is valid and all the stakeholders agree with it. It goes on chain, it can never be changed forever, right? And you can still maintain your data privately in your system. It's not going to be exposed on the world. What the world is going to get the recipe, output of that recipe that we stream, that fixed stream. That's what they're going to keep on that server. That's what you're always going to be verifying. Is this correct? Is this correct? Now I can insert. If it doesn't match, that person will try all day. It will never insert. You will have to do the right thing. And that system is a code. You can private. You can, say, my man, you are things out me. You can work. You will have to do the right thing. And that's what I do. But the authority is the most important in my opinion. Because even when I get myself, I have think if the human want to experiment in an experiment environment, we will be available to create an experiment to try it. Not like you use it as a try and see. Trying sometimes is more better than just thinking about stuff or imagining it. When you try, the difference between what is doing and what you have it for, you can decide and to proceed on that. But give you a chance, open, maybe you being here mean that you guys are open minded. So I believe that without open mindedness, if you proceed to try, then you will see if it works for you or not.
I think we actually been on time, but we go on straight into the presentation. So before our presenter take a seat,
Go ahead, please.
All right, I'm ready. It's fine. So, when the presentation, I noticed one of our blockchain or strengths if it comes to the security is that information cannot be released. So here's the point. In the educational center, like teacher and student, what if a partner or creator or a student in that process, the rest make mistakes. Only about 3 months that make mistakes at times. So if that person is setting grade for that base they have created, how would you have to go to the principal and then ask principal and like how would they change that grade?
It also depends on the game of this person was smart contract, depending on the logic that you use to protect the process. So if you have a logic in the say, oh, you made a mistake on the change it, but I mean that change needs some approval, right? Now those people will have their approval. That is a code, right? So the code will wait for the approval. The person who's approved not approved, will not proceed. So similarly, you can still do that with that the logic is saying.
I want to ask the question. We will come back to the question.
Please.
Go back to
Like, I'm an interim member of Brown. Okay. So I want to ask, like, how can this blockchain technology be of access for the creative industry, like artists, like recording rights for that song, intellectual properties?
Yes, similar to living, music is an asset. Similarly, right? And you have even in other countries, you have people and artists, and rights are not attainable. So you can use this system. If you own a specific asset, it's yours forever unless you sell it to somebody else. Currently, some artists in the U.S. have been using the album they created to make it identity. And other artists in the US are using live to create NFT album. So now more people can own the NFT, buy, get the ownership of it. You own it forever. Whatever revenue you generate, those who own the NFT get the revenue. No middleman, when the code is a and it's there forever.
Thank you. I also want to give a little knowledge because the asked about how the blockchain technology can be important to higher institutions. If the institution are giving out particular companies and needs credentials, it will be that it will be helpful in academic transparency.
Perfect. Yeah.
So people are carrying big degrees, and
Right.
others are feeling
That's a good one.
somebody who does not have the correct credentials to carry on their was there carry on that's really taking out as important.
Right. That's a very good one. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Carol. I think yes, I will come back to the question you asked because people have to work within the time this year. So we want to join our panelists discussion. We got the other team, the US, so they also need to chip in that. So we have the Alkebuleum vision and wow. Is he ready? Okay, while we wait on the Alkebuleum vision roadmap, we love to play the documentary video here so we can connect the team to you. Turn up quick more, please. Okay, so we strictly call PM to do the roadmap and vision for the Alkebuleum Foundation.
Some example of the opportunity there.
All right. How's everybody doing? Can you see my screen?
Oh, beautiful. Yes,
All right. You see my screen? No?
You see my
Yeah?
screen? No. See my screen? No.
All right. All right. Somebody talk to me. Can you see my screen? Can you hear me? Yes? No? Okay. I'm still not getting any feedback. Okay. Somebody talk to me. Can you hear me? I just need yes. Okay. So I'm assuming that everybody can hear me, right? All right. Okay. Good. 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 Thanks. I got the confirmation that you guys can hear me. So thank you so much, Ernesto, for the presentation. I think that was incredible, and it's really really difficult to talk about blockchain. I tell you guys this, my first blockchain event. When I came home, my head was hurting. I was like, all these big terminologies, and there's so much new things to learn. So when I got home, I did more research and I started getting a little bit comfortable. So I kind of encourage you to do the same. If you don't understand something, just do the best you can to kind of look into it. Some of the terms, start with the terminology first. But awesome job. It's really really hard to talk about something as complex as blockchain to you know to an audience who maybe some people might not understand a whole lot. So my name is Bien, and I'm on the team. This is amazing. I'm so glad we're having this, and it's really nice to see a lot of people show up. This is incredible. I wish I could be there. I almost walked to get there this morning, but I thought about it. I said, I might not make it on time, so I will do the video one. So um, I would talk about the roadmap of the project, and there's going to be some terms also, but we'll do the best we can to kind of go through those. All right. So the Alkebuleum's roadmap is cut up into four phases, right? We have obviously year one to year two, which is just the basic things we're putting together, and then year two to four, we're talking about ZKID, which is like identity ID system on the blockchain. And then year three to six, and then uh, year five. But year five will kind of overlap with three to six, right? Um, so let's go into a little glimpse of those phases. Now, in phase one, we will be doing some basic stuff, like I said, just making sure we get digital identification all cleared out. Phase two will be focusing a little bit more on building things on Alkebuleum, and Alkebuleum will also be leveraging other very major blockchain in the crypto space, like Ethereum. Uh, Phase three will be trying to be more decentralized, where the owner and the people that founded the blockchain will have no power, absolutely no power. We will be powerless because we can't do anything to the system, right? And that's the kind of system we want to create where things are decentralized. We take away that centralized process. Year four, we'll start diving more into phase four, more into AI and artificial intelligence. How many people using GPT right now and using other data, not just data, but informational AI system? I'm pretty sure some of you are, and it's really helpful. You can just like search things real quick and get some quick paperwork done if you want to. All right, so in phase one, which is we'll be strengthening our core. Now, at the very foundation of what we are trying to do here is to establish some sort of identity, digital identity system where obviously, you have your identity on the blockchain. And through that process, you can build reputation, which is your digital reputation. People can see you on the blockchain and be like, oh, this guy record shows that he's been doing the right thing. I can trust him with transacting business, or the blockchain can trust you because you have a good reputation. um, so that will be very important in that first stage, and people will be incentivized based on their reputational activities. If you do good stuff on the blockchain, you get incentivized. You have a good reputation, but if you also engage in good activities, obviously like validating transaction on the blockchain, you might be giving some sort of transaction fees, which is like a token that the blockchain gives you. And I'll tell you this is how Bitcoin is actually created. You know, People who validate a transaction on on the Bitcoin network, new Bitcoin comes out and is distributed to that person or to the machine that solved the cryptographic code, right? And validate the transaction. And whoever owns the machine obviously will own the Bitcoin. And that just go right into their wallet, you know. So it's good acting, good behavior. Um, we will be launching something called zero knowledge proof also. We technically are on that, like Zk ID, where you have your identification. You can go to alkebuleum.org right now and kind of mess around with it a little bit. Obviously, we're not doing any sort of major deployment right now because we have to follow our country's law. you know, um, we are an entity of law. We want to make sure we do the right thing. So if the government give clarity to us, that's what we do. The government doesn't give clarity to blockchain. Hey, we're gonna keep fighting and asking the people to go and lobby for it. So we are not gonna give up because we know the importance of this technology. So, but you can go to alkebuleum.org and kind of play around a little bit with how things will work, like creating your identification system right now. Obviously, those are going to be modified as we go along. Now, in phase two, we'll focus more on okay, how do we leverage like some very important blockchain like Ethereum. How many of you heard of Ethereum? Probably some of you have. Now, when you think about Ethereum, Ethereum is like the second highest market cap cryptocurrency project in the whole space. And there's over thousands of them, right? And all these projects, like Alkebuleum is a project as well. Ethereum is a project. Bitcoin is a project that are people working on Bitcoin and building stuff on Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is also money because the currency that makes things operate on the Bitcoin network is Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is that currency that make things work on the network. So the currency becomes valuable because everybody want to be able to do activities. Ethereum is like what $2,400 right now for one. And I remember it was like almost $80 in 2020 when COVID came and the market crashed. It's 2,400 right now. You know, and Bitcoin is almost like $107,000 a piece right now. But I'm not going to talk about the prices yet. We're focusing more on the blockchain. So I get a little bit excited when I start talking about money. You know, so let me calm down a little bit. So we'll anchor Alkebuleum with Ethereum so that we can leverage the security that Ethereum provides. Ethereum is decentralized. Alkebuleum at some point will be decentralized. Ethereum has millions of people actually using Ethereum and hundreds of thousands of businesses built on it. And the reason why it's decentralized because there's so many people, you can't convince everybody to engage in, let's say someone wants to do some kind of criminal activities, to engage in some criminal activities. You have to convince the entire group, which is impossible. Uh, but Alkebuleum will build on that system, and then out of that process, uh, obviously we'll be using our ZKID to get us onto that, to make that connection with Ethereum, and which is the identity system that Alkebuleum will have, and that will provide so much leverage. Um, we also plan on doing more community outreach, like what we're doing. This event is bringing so many people together, and we are talking about crypto. We're educating folks about crypto, and let's see. Is my screen I share? This is not good. All right. It looks like it's shared to me. Okay. Oh man, this is give me a second here, please. I am so sorry. I'm here thinking my screen is shared and everybody's looking. And I got this awesome PowerPoint I've been working with. Okay, let me try it again one more time. Yeah, 1 second. All right. Well, it says my screen is shared. All right, let's do this. Hey. All right. Let's do this one more time. Share screen. Entire screen. Okay. Okay, let's do this, right? Okay, now, I think it looks a little bit better now. Let's see here. All right, because I share my entire screen, I'm pretty sure everybody can see this. Okay, all right, let's keep it pushing. So, in phase 2 of the project, somebody give me confirmation that the screen is actually shared. Please do, if you can. Um, in phase 2, we're leveraging Ethereum security, and we're building Alkebuleum. Yes, this is awesome. Thank you. We are building Alkebuleum's protocol on top of that to get that decentralized security. The reason why we want to do that because the team at Alkebuleum, see, we don't want nothing to do with fraud. Your reputation, people's money, people's identity, we want to do it the right way. And that's why we've been having all these communication, reaching out. We're not even telling people, even though we have some prototype all set up, we're not launching those things right now because we don't want to go against the country's policy. We want to do it the right way, and we want to do everything the right way. People's identity, people's information, people's money. When we start building businesses on there, so we want to use a secure system that can protect your identity, your money, your activities, your businesses. Um, so that's why we will leverage Ethereum at some point. And some of the deliverable from that would be obviously the digital decentralized identity will be done with that. That will be all set up. ZKID will be clean and ready. You can transact with people on the chain at that time and even say, oh, I know this person, and people will be able to customize their name. You put your regular name or whatever name until we get to that point where when the government start building things there, then people are going to be real. You're going to put your real name, and especially when you want to tap into to institutional activities because KYC is very important. All the banks follow KYC. You can't create an account in Liberia if you don't have your driver license and some sort of identification. So once the government gets involved, we will start making sure we tailor the development process to what the government wants and what some of the institution wants, not just the government, but university, identification system. All right, in phase three, it will become more decentralized, where AI will get involved. There's so much AI activities right now. I just love it. And I tell you this, guys. Somebody told me. Let me tell you guys something very interesting. And the person said, if you can survive, if you do the best you can right now to survive for the next 10 years or 15 years, and you take care of yourself, you take care of your health, you might live for a long time. Because in 15 years from now, AI will solve so much problems, and some of those medical, breakthroughs that we have will be able to make people stick around for a long time. See, I don't know about you, but I want to stick around a little longer. So definitely. So AI will actually help us with some of our uh, development with Alkebuleum. We introduce like AI agents, like for the network to create some sort of because obviously things are going to be autonomous. It's not going to be two people just acting on the blockchain. The system is going to be running completely with AI. You can set something and say, okay, I want this to be done, and the system will just get it done. And obviously, there's some of the activities will cost money because to run a system costs money. Because running anything is energy, and energy is not free. And that energy can be electrical energy, right? There's a transaction fees for everything. If somebody sent me $20 from Liberia here right now, they have to pay a fee. There's a transaction fees associated with that. So, and Alkebuleum, you know, is also within that frame. I mean, it's just a physics law. You can get away with it. You can't have any energy that doesn't really, burn out something. So, all right. So, some of these terms a little bit complex, guys. I don't want to kind of blow your mind off it, but some of the general idea is we're building this system so that other people in Liberia can have access to the international market. It is not fair to be for us to be some of us that lived in Liberia to not have the same opportunities as other people have in the world, even though we have the internet. And all they give us is like Facebook, YouTube, but we can't really tap into the market. And I think this is what this movement is about. That hey, we're tired of all those like sweet, Facebook, YouTube, all those entertainment stuff. We want to do real business. We want to be able to. I want to be able to organize um, my transaction from China, and all of my goods just get right back right to me in Liberia. And because I have an identity on the blockchain, and identity is connected to me, and I have code that I can prove to show that I'm the person that validated this transaction or allow the transaction to happen. So uh, don't get too overwhelmed. Some of these terms that they're just
and welcome again. It's okay? All right. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome here. So, like I was saying, we have now this Esther Sagi. Esther is advocate for social justice and women's rights. And also, we have Olushola Kibekomoy. She's also a politician and an advocate as well. So we are happy again to have you all here to have a panel discussion on blockchain, democracy, and gender equality, a path towards inclusive innovation. So I always say to people that whatever you want to do, you must have women included because when women are included into anything, any innovation that you have, definitely that innovation becomes marketable. And we cannot achieve any other agenda without making sure that women are part of it. Because this agenda are also for women. And so if we are making decisions on behalf of us, therefore we must be part of it. So that is why today we have Esther and Olushola. So the both of them are going to give us just a brief presentation of what they think about inclusive blockchain innovation, what makes it important that we should be part of blockchain technology. So without any time to waste, we go over to Esther for a brief introduction and a presentation.
Thank you so much. So, good afternoon, and I'm happy to be here. Even though the energy levels think is a little bit low, but I'm glad to be here today, having this important conversation. Um, all the insightful information that I've gotten, how we do believe that the next revolution of justice might likely come from what it.
So I guess everyone. So for the presentation of the previous presenter, that is my attention when it comes to blockchain, especially the demonstration, and how can we make it inclusive for innovation or workable in the society. So basically, let's take for instance a scenario where the young lady about two or whatever she is within the rural part of Liberia, and she likely grow some cassava on a small part of land had two generations. Fortunately, she had no legit document, and when dispute arises, she has no voice, she has no justice, and she has no proof towards that particular plot of land. Imagine now a new feature where if Fatu register for land is blockchain. It's very secure, it's very transparent, it is very recognized. That's equity and that's justice, right? So this is why we are having this conversation today, because my message short is that innovation must be inclusive. Inclusive in a sense that it should be workable for local farmers, for women, and for students in general, like we have some educators in here. So that can only be done if blockchain having to build this app with the people, not for them. That is involving everyone to get involved in building this particular app that will be able to shift innovation or development in Nigeria. So I think today is a fruitful conversation and a rich one of education level. It can be in health, it can be in farmers. So that should be inclusive in all. So that's just on this discussion. Thank you. Thank you very much, Esther. So without much time to waste, for Luciana for a brief introduction, also discussion. So thank you.
To begin with, I want to count this as a great privilege to be given such opportunity for many young women in our society to interact with you about the subject that brings together three powerful forces shaping our today's world to include technology, democracy, and gender equality. So before going further into my presentation, I would like to give you a point that resonates well with my vision for women leadership in Africa. We said if we must achieve developmental agenda in Africa, that means more women should be inspired, equipped, educated, and empowered. In my mind, we cannot achieve this point without smart solutions like Alkebuleum, blockchain technology, and the production of other technologies that are making sure we get the from the processes. As our leadership enthusiasts, one certificates in campaign planning and leadership, and we are still at a pivotal moment in history, a moment where innovations like blockchain will not just be systems, but open doors that have long been shut for too many women in Liberia and Africa at large. One of the greatest challenges in political participation, particularly in online communities, is the lack of trust in the electoral process. Women in rural areas are often left out, silenced, or exploited. Their votes are overlooked and their voices ignored. But artificial blockchain technology can help us change that in Liberia and Africa by making sure the entire process is decentralized. I want us to take key the word decentralized because if it is not decentralized, we cannot achieve what we want to achieve. For everyone to have access to immutable data systems and transactions. The next question that brings us is why should blockchain technology matter to women in politics? And this is very important. Blockchain technology should matter to women in politics because it will help with campaign canvassing, civic engagement, constitutional mobilization. When we apply blockchain to elections, it means that voting will become more transparent, more secure, and much harder to manipulate. Our first speaker, I think we listened to him when he spoke about putting information on the blockchain that cannot be removed. So if we use this for our electoral purposes, it will be very difficult for us to manipulate it. When someone will say, "Oh, I was cheated," because everything that goes in, stays, and it comes out as it goes in. It means that voting will be transparent, it will be more secure, it will be harder to manipulate. It also reveals to the fact that women's votes are counted and protected. Election results can be monitored in real time, reducing fraud and increasing trust. Imagine a young woman in Paynesville county casting her vote from her phone, knowing that her vote cannot be stolen. She can track it and also prove it. That's